Welcome to the 175th edition of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Brucker, and I'm coming to you live here from Casa de Brucker. We're going to be having another outstanding beer. We're going to today have the Alcatraz Double Cold Brew, which is an Imperial coffee stout by Alcatraz. Now, we've done Alcatraz before. We did their double IPA, which was phenomenal. But this is their newest edition here. So we're going to go ahead and get going on it here. Now, this is an Imperial coffee stout. It clocks in at 8.8% alcohol by volume, 30 IBUs. And I realized I don't think I got a rating on this one, and it might be because it's relatively new and there weren't a lot out there. But we'll talk about it. We'll give it our own review, and then maybe later I'll find out if there were any reviews that I might have missed there, okay? Now, as you can see, this is a dark brownish black with an off-white head. We swirl it there, we get some lacing. So far so good. Now you definitely right off the bat, you get the smell of the coffee. They use Guatemalan coffee in this, which is a great coffee. And there's a strong coffee presence. And I think it's because when they make this, there's a special process they do to get more of the flavors. It's a slow brew on the coffee, which brings out more of this flavor. Now, we've talked about this brewery, kind of a neat story before we get going on it. There is also some chocolate in here. I smell that. Almost like some almond or... And then there's a sweetness. I don't know if that's the chocolate or... But it's it smells very, very delicious. So I'm excited about it. And I've had it before, so I know it's good. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, before I taste this and get into it, Alcatraz. The reason this is called Alcatraz, and I think we talked about this when we did the review of the double, Steve Morgan, the owner, actually swims from Alcatraz to San Francisco in a swim they do every year, thus the name Alcatraz. So he's an avid swimmer, and he does that every year. I think he's done it for like 16 or 17 years in a row. So that's kind of a thing. And if you've ever been like to a Total Wine in the area, odds are if you see somebody pouring this beer, is probably Steve, because he actually is very involved in getting his beers out into the market. I've seen him several times at Total Wine out there serving his beers to get hands on what people think of and things like that. So really neat guy. And the brewery itself, even though they don't have a location, the brewers that actually brewed this have over 60 years of brewing experience. One of the gentlemen, his name's Dan Barkley, I think it was Barkley, yeah, Barkley, was one of the first craft brewers in the United States. He worked for a brewery called Albion back in 1979, which they say was one of the first craft brewers in the United States. So that's how much experience goes behind the beer. Now, one of the other brewers has like 25 years of brewing experience. There was nothing to laugh at. James Costa, who also worked for Bear Republic, which also they did the the Racer #5 or whatever. Great brewery, lots of great beer. So you got a lot of talent in this brewery. So that's why I want to stop and kind of talk about it just briefly. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a sip of this. Oh. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're not a fan of coffee, this is probably not going to be for you. But if you like coffee, especially like a nice flavored coffee, this is fantastic. You get a really strong coffee flavor in it, which is why I was saying if you don't like coffee, it might not be for you. You do get a light like chocolate. Definitely the chocolate. I almost think there's something else a little bit sweeter in there. Maybe a touch of honey. I could be wrong, but maybe some kind of nut in there, like a almondy. But there's no doubt about it. You get the coffee and the chocolate. The chocolate's real light. The coffee very pronounced, and a delicious coffee at that. So you know how a lot of times you get a coffee stout and it's strong coffee, but the coffee isn't like that high quality coffee. The difference in this stout than other coffee stouts that I've had is it's a good quality coffee. It kind of reminds me in a way, I always, when I drink coffee myself, I always get the Peach Major Dickinson. It's just my favorite coffee. And it has a certain sweetness to it. It's strong, but got a sweetness to it. And that's how I look at this right here. You get a nice strong coffee flavor, but there is a sweetness to it that just makes it just delicious. Very well balanced, if you will. Really phenomenal. So make sure if you see this, the double cold brew from Alcatraz Brewing Company, make sure you check it out because the guy's a heck of a nice guy, the owner, and they make great beer. If you see the regular Alcatraz double IPA, make sure you check that out. And if you can find it on tap, it is even better on tap. And I can tell you where you can find it on tap all the time, which is at the Golden Lion in Palm Coast. At the Golden Lion in Palm Coast, they always have it. And every time I stop there, which I love the place because their fish tacos are phenomenal. So make sure you go by and check out the Golden Lion and have yourself an Alcatraz. I don't know if they've got this there, but I know that the regular double IPA there they have on tap all the time. So I'm not sure if they've got this there or not, but make sure, find this and check it out, especially if you're a coffee fan or a coffee stout fan. This is really just a phenomenal beer. And they do a really excellent job. Steve actually explained to me the process of how they extract the flavor of the coffee, and they do it different than other breweries do it. And you can tell when you drink this beer. It's really, really nice. So make sure you check this out, and make sure if you want any cool Beer Issues gear like Beer Issues hats, t-shirts, make sure you go to shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues.